kind of relieves the pressure of you having to find work all the time, figure it out. Yeah. Cause it takes a toll, it really does, and especially when there's a lull, when you're like, whoa, not much is happening right now, or I'm waiting for stuff to come through. And when it does come through, it'll come through fast. Hey friends, welcome to Creative X. My name is Brad Hussey and I'm a web designer. Today I want to share a clip from my weekly office hours session that I host in the Creative X crew, which is my free community for professional designers and developers, freelancers, and founders. During these sessions, I answer questions, provide design feedback, live coaching calls, and I also host lectures and workshops, all with the sole purpose of helping you succeed as a designer. If that sounds like you, join the crew. The link is down below in the description and the pinned comment. Without further ado, cue the clip.
I've probably mentioned stuff like this before where as a freelancer, contractor, looking for what a niche is pretty challenging, and maybe here's an opportunity. So in the meantime, I've been contracting and I'm doing something for an agency in the States right now, and I've only just started the contract a couple of weeks ago, and it's supposed to take me till through February. And it's only part-time, but the senior vice president of engineering there reached out the other day and was like, hey, we're wanting to preemptively extend your contract beyond February. How do you feel about that? And also, might you be interested in coming on full-time? And there's this little part of me that's still maybe I should consider that. But the other part of me is without a full-time job, I've been able to make more money contracting than I would make working full-time for them, even in a senior role. So the idea of working in a team is attractive. There's smart people there. But when I see these little opportunities hey, maybe I could leverage this little thing that I built in a day to open up this new world of something in the future. Maybe I think something like that to me is a little bit more interesting. Yeah. Because part of the reason that I've gone this direction is I want to build something that's mine. I have this business. I want to build something beyond just working for somebody else.
Absolutely, and I understand the decision between trying to figure out those what to do, and especially if you have an offer, and then you have the ability to maybe influence that offer to be favorable to you, whether it's better pay or flexibility or whatever other things you can throw into the mix there, because you kind of have the upper hand here. You could just be no, I'm good. Keep contracting me out because I have other things as well, and I make more money than if I just were to be full-time. But, I understand that, there's something attractive about that, kind of relieves the pressure of you having to find work all the time, figure it out. Yeah. Because it takes a toll, it really does, and especially when there's a lull, when you're like, whoa, not much is happening right now, or I'm waiting for stuff to come through. And when it does come through, it'll come through fast, but maybe it's a false sense of security. Because I know if you have an employer, you could be let go, and then what? You didn't do any work to get any work after that. Now there's a big lull. But I don't know, there is security in having somebody, sign you into a contract and hire you as an employee. So I get that, and that's a respectable route. But the allure and the potential upside of doing it yourself, and I speak from experience, it's very attractive. And the potential upside is so much greater. You just have to weigh, is the downside something you can live with? Which is you got to find work. You got to consistently find work. And it takes a toll. Not everybody's cut out for that, right? But once you taste it though, it's I don't know. It's when you have a really good steak from a butcher, and then you buy the AAA steak from Walmart and you go, what is this? I can't. I know it was $8, but it's not real. It's not good. I don't know. That's just it's like once you taste it, once you have that freedom, the flexibility, the empowerment also when you like talk to a client and they trust you and you make them an offer that in a way you're kind of giddy and nervous because you're like, I'm asking way too much. There's no way that they're going to say yes to that. And then they're like, okay, sure. And then they give you a check or a wire transfer or whatever for your amount that you requested. And you're like, wow, I could do that? Like I could just conceptualize some sort of offer, put it in front of somebody who seems to need it, and then they say yes. And I get to do this thing where I really love doing this, and now I'm getting paid money, maybe even really good money, to do this thing, like at home or at the coffee shop or the co-working place or whatever. Like that's exciting. And then when you can imagine, you go, well, I completed that project, and if I've got 40 hours in the week and I completed that project in 10, I could do 4 of those. And maybe if I can make this more efficient and do this, raise my rates here, then you're like, all of this like adds up and it's very attractive. And then when you do it and you're succeeding at it, and you start to get better and more confident, you get better at getting more work, you get more referrals, like it all starts to make sense. And then you know how to weather those like low times, those lulls, especially if you've taken like the tried and true freelancer advice, which is you get paid big money on this project, but then you get nothing. Like you should be putting that away so that $20,000 job that you got, that can last you a little bit just in case. And then you get enough of those, you build up a bit of a bank, let's call it. Like then you can ride out the storms. Like you can ride out the ups and downs in freelancing, the mountains and valleys, as I've always called it. But then you build your bridge, you build those bridges across the valleys. So it's those additional income sources. Maybe it's like selling plugins, maybe it's selling products, maybe it's selling education and training. Maybe it's building a community that you're charging for. Maybe it's facilitating professional connections that you take a commission on. Maybe it's affiliate revenue, maybe it's ad revenue. You stack all these on top and then you're like, this really makes sense. And this was really a good bet. So coming back to, I understand the attractiveness of somebody saying, I'll pay you money to be an employee. If that's the right choice for you, then that's good. That's a respectable decision. I love look at it like, what's the upside and what's the downside, or the potential downside? And then ask yourself, can I live with that downside? And if you can't, then it's kind of your answer is, well, then it's not the right decision. But if you can, that means that that upside is good. And if you have the downside, then you can live with it. Then great, that's good. Make that, make the call that way. If the downside is like, well, now I can't do freelance work. Now I don't have that flexibility. Now I don't have time to build that thing that could be quite successful. I don't have the time, the flexibility, the freedom, but I get really good pay. But the downside is I don't get these. It's like, can you live with that? If no, then either find a solution where you can maybe have a bit of both, or it's a no. That's the way I approach it. And it helps me to make decisions in those scenarios. Thanks so much for watching that. If you liked it, tap the like button and consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any of our videos. And if you loved it and want some more, join us in the Creative X crew. While you're here, why not check that video out? Cheers.